The Jared Dillian Show.
I'm Jared Dillian. This is The Jared Dillian Show. Welcome back. We got more great stuff here. It's going to be awesome. If you want to call to talk about your money, please call 844-305-7800. That's 844-305-7800. This is The Jared Dillian Show. And if you want to go to my website, it's jareddillianmoney.com. Or if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at DailyDirtNap, or you can just look up my name if you can spell it correctly. So this is, a lot of people get jammed up on this. This is a really big topic. And I would say 99% of people probably feel like they are underpaid. I can say that definitively. I can say that the vast majority of people think that they are underpaid. And that can't possibly be true because there are lots of people out there that are overpaid. And if you are overpaid, you should really, really enjoy it while it lasts. And I got to see lots of overpaid people my time on Wall Street. And I might have been one of them, who knows? But there were some really, really, really overpaid people, insanely overpaid people. And they had no concept that it would not last forever. And that's actually the funny thing about being overpaid, is that it does not last forever. So if you're getting paid a lot of money relative to how much you work, there's a pretty good chance you're overpaid, and it's probably not a permanent condition. Probably not permanent. So how do you get a raise if you think you're underpaid? How do you get a raise? And the best way to get a raise, it's a time-tested strategy. It's been tested throughout the ages by hundreds of thousands of people. It's a foolproof way to get a raise. Best way to get a raise is to ask for one. And you might get a raise if you don't ask for one, but probably not. You probably won't get a raise if you don't ask for one. That is definitely true. So you might think that this is what people think, that like if you're doing a really, really good job at your job, that you will get noticed, that you will get plucked out of the lineup, you'll get noticed, and you will get a raise out of nowhere. And that is probably not the case. We'll talk about why actually and say, let's take a call. Ryan from Hobart College. Ryan, you're on the air.
Hey, Mr. Dillian. So I got a quick question for you. So I'm kind of starting to notice that a lot of my friends from high school or just old people from my hometown are kind of getting into these like multi-level marketing schemes. I don't know if you're familiar with those or not. They're basically like pyramid schemes where someone tries to sell you like snake oil pills or essential oils or protein shakes and get their friends and their downline. And I've never really paid too much attention to it, but I had a former coach who I really respected kind of pitch me on it one time. And I was kind of telling him that he was getting in on a Ponzi scheme, and he just kind of got mad at me and was telling me how I'm not understanding multi-level marketing. So I'm just kind of curious on your thoughts, though. Why do people get into this stuff, or why do people think they're going to get rich, like working in a Ponzi scheme, selling some kind of product like that? Would love to get your thoughts. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between multi-level marketing and pyramid or Ponzi schemes. And if you look at a company like Amway that is a successful multi-level marketing company, and I think it's a huge waste of time, and I don't know why people do it, but it is successful, and it's not a Ponzi scheme. Ponzi scheme is basically where profits pay off, like new investments pay off earlier investments. That's the definition of a Ponzi scheme. Now, it's funny you bring this up because I have some classmates from college who actually started a multi-level marketing scheme, and they call it Democracy Delivered, and it has something to do with gift cards, and I can't really figure it out, and they keep hitting me up for money, and they don't. I think what the problem is that they don't really understand like how a business works. Is that if like somebody's going to give you money, like you have to provide something of value, and so I don't look. It's weird. It's, you bring this up and some people are just strangely attracted to these schemes, and I don't understand why, because there's just not a lot of money in it. I guess. I don't know. Still there? Okay, I think Ryan's gone.
I was like, I have to hang up and listen. Sorry.
Okay, are you still there?
Yeah, still here, but nothing else to add. Thanks for taking my call, Mr. Dillian.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. The multi-level marketing stuff is I don't get the attraction. I don't. And that's, by the way, this is super interesting. So if you ever heard of a personality test called the Big Five, the Big Five basically measures 5 aspects of your personality. So agreeableness, extroversion, conscientiousness, neuroticism, and I forget the 5th one. But agreeableness is basically your your desire to please other people. And people with a high agreeableness score are very susceptible to confidence schemes, basically con men. And people with low agreeableness scores are totally unscammable. They see through everything. And I have one of the lowest agreeableness scores imaginable. Cons do not work on me. I see them coming a mile off. And some people get sucked into this stuff. And it's really because, believe it or not, it's because of the agreeableness score on the Big Five personality test. If you don't believe me, go online. There's a bunch of sample Big Five tests you can take. Just Google it. It's pretty interesting. But we're talking about asking for a raise. And your boss is not just going to give you a raise just because you do a good job. A lot of people think that's how it works. I do a good job, I get a raise. No, it actually does not work like that. It demonstrably does not work like that. And by the way, there are millions of people out there who work super, super hard at their jobs, and they think there's some connection between working hard and getting paid more. And there is absolutely zero connection. There's no connection at all. Basically, your boss is super self-absorbed. He has his own problems, probably going through a divorce or his kid's suicidal or this or that, and he is not thinking about you working hard. He's not thinking about that. He doesn't think about it at all. He doesn't care about you. He's thinking about himself. He's a human being. You're thinking about yourself, and he's thinking about himself. So if you want to get a raise, what you got to do is say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, come into this conference room with me, and you got to ask them point blank. You got to say, I am doing a great job for this company. I should be compensated more. You should pay me more. I want a raise. And if you don't ask for it, they are not going to give it to you. They don't have ESP. They can't just like intuit like what you're doing. You have to ask. And a lot of people are just too chicken to ask. And it's weird because it's really like a self-esteem thing. Like you have to do this on your own behalf. Like you just have to be your own best advocate. So, on Wall Street, they used to say you have to ask for the business. Like let's say you had a client that was a hedge fund and you want them to get them to trade with you. It's not, you can't just be like, hey, we're buddies, ... You want to, you have to ask. Always have to ask. I'm Jared Dillian. This is the Jared Dillian Show.
The Jared Dillian Show.